Happy Tuesday to you. It's the Joel Natale Show. We are live from our Kingdom Financial Group studio here at 5th and State. Also live on Facebook and YouTube, as we are excited to have with us once again Ben Jeffries from the Hallman Auto Group. Ben, good to see you.
Good to see you, Joel. Thanks for having me.
I always love our conversations. Yeah. You know, I always step into things that I know nothing about, but you bring me back. You're like that lane guidance software that they have on these cars now. You bring me back into the lane, don't you?
Hey, everybody drives. Everybody knows something about it. That's for sure.
So, okay, here we are. All intents and purposes, the pandemic ended 2-3 years ago. You've been in this business a while. Compare 2019 with 2024. Are we fully back, or has the car business fundamentally changed?
You know, that's an interesting question, Joel. I'll tell you this. I think that this is probably the best new car selection that's been on the ground in a very, very long time, which definitely has echoes of 2019. However, I would tell you that inventory compared to 2019 is still probably a little bit less.
Okay.
It's a little more focused on what people want. Yeah. I think all of the manufacturers have done a dramatically better job at producing what people want, as opposed to just shoving down dealers and consumers' throats what they think they ought to want.
How has research been done over the years, or more in the more recent years? I mean, how do they know what consumers want? Is it always based on the sales, or is it? I mean, is there focus groups and data collection and all that stuff?
Yeah, I would tell you that every company is a little bit different, but of course, there's what's actually selling, and then there's what's actually selling quickly, and then there's what's selling without being incentivized. That's obviously a great indication that it's what people want. You know, like the Trax for us, that's been a tremendous home run of a car, right?
Interesting.
It starts at like 21 grand and everybody loves it. And, the deal is that, it's 21 grand. So that's fantastic. And people love it.
Is there a felt need then from manufacturers saying, we've got to have something in that sweet spot right around 20 Gs?
Mm-hmm. I think so. Yeah. I mean, affordability is the name of the game, especially over the past 2 or 3 years.
With the interest rates, inflation,
cost of living, all these things, I can tell you that over the past week or so, it seems like there's this newfound optimism in the business community, which is great. People are calling us, asking us for, truck or fleet orders, things like that.
Wow.
Which is great. That's good news. But, the new car business has been really strong the past couple of weeks, too. I think people are, whether the election went the way you wanted or it didn't, I think people are like, well, it's done.
The uncertainty is over.
It's done. Let me make a decision. Am I going to buy? Am I not?
Yeah.
I think the anxiety is sort of out of the air, which is good.
All right. So tell me about, I know there's no such thing as a typical buyer.
Yeah.
But, don't you usually buy when you have a little bit of life change? That first baby takes you out of the sports car and maybe not necessarily into a minivan, but certainly something that could accommodate a car seat, right?
Well, sure, Joel. I mean, David Hallman is always fond of saying people buy cars to change their lives. We help them do it, right?
Oh, that's a really smart thing to say.
I mean, it's just true. It's true.
Yeah.
It's the machine that gets you to the place where you make your money. It moves around the people you love, gets you to the places, things, events that you want to go to. And, in Erie, it's critical to have a car. You really want to have a car. So, you're absolutely right. You get married, you buy a house. That's actually still the leading indicator you're going to buy a new car, is that you just bought a new house, which is
I had no idea.
A riot, but it's true.
That is.
You're like, well, I just bought a house. I mean, what's a car? I don't know. There's it's like the hot hand fallacy, right? People just do it. But different things shove people into the market at different times.
Yeah.
And I would tell you that, gosh, we just have such a great selection on the ground at both Chevrolet and Hyundai right now.
Yeah. Well, and a part of that is basically, like you say, they research what people want, and you have this kind of diversity. You were mentioning vehicles that don't need incentives. I would imagine the Silverado does not need an incentive, does it?
Oh, everybody loves the Silverado. I mean, it's still the number one selling vehicle in the Chevrolet portfolio.
Right.
Everybody loves the Silverado. But I will say this. Incentives on Silverado are very good right now.
Oh, okay.
Very good. I mean, we're doing about a $4,600 Hallman discount on all Silverado in stock.
Yeah.
All 1500s. And that's in addition to factory savings. And I mean, you can save $8-9 on a Silverado right now.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. That's interesting. The the other thing is, when you want to go from that smaller car to that, what is it, SUV or crossover?
Sure. Everything's an SUV now, it seems.
I guess so.
Do you remember when Toyota first came out with, I think it was the Venza?
Okay, sure.
And they called it the first crossover.
Yeah. I do remember that.
And the whole world was like, what's a crossover?
Right. I still barely know what that is.
It's everything now. Right? I mean, everything is the crossover of 2006. Everything is. Every small SUV in existence.
Yeah.
And gosh, how many small SUVs do we have down? I mean, we've got a dozen small SUVs downtown between Chevy and Hyundai.
Right.
And they're very popular. People love them. They're versatile.
And people feel when they live in Erie that they need that all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
I think if you guys had a dealership in Montgomery, Alabama, do you think you still sell the SUVs?
Oh, they do, but they're front wheel.
Oh,
they do. Well, people like to sit up a little higher.
Yeah.
Right. People like to have a trunk that they don't have to drop things down into.
Yeah.
So
it's all function in.
I think so.
Form. Yeah.
I think people like to have a car that they can do a lot of different things with. That being said, I mean, I've watched people drop the back seat in a Sonata at our Hyundai store and put a kayak in the back, poking it into the front passenger seat.
Right.
So, I mean, you can do it.
Yeah, in a Sonata. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
I love the Sonata.
Yeah. Well, it occurs to me too is that you still have those foreign nameplates that are willing to make a sedan, whereas it really feels like Chevy, Ford, Chrysler, they don't want to do sedans anymore, do they?
It's true.
And what do they tell you about all that?
Well, I mean, there's.
I mean, you think about the Camry and the Accord, like they sell bazillions of those.
Yeah, and they are very popular cars, and that's true. I just think that General Motors and Ford and Stellantis, right? Yeah. They have just made a strategic decision that, hey, we're going to take all of this R&D dollars and we're going to shove them into smaller SUVs because people want this versatility.
But didn't you used to sell like again, infinity of Malibus or whatever back in the day? Like
for
just
sure we did.
5 years ago.
Well, probably, I mean, I would say the last time we sold a real critical mass of Malibus was probably almost 6-7 years ago now,
okay.
Actually, I have 5 Malibus remaining.
You still do, huh?
Yeah, like the very last Malibus. I just had them land last month. I have 5 left. I'm doing $1,000 off. And
what are they? Oh, they're 23s
or 24s?
Own
a piece of history. It's true, though. They're actually 25s.
Oh, okay.
They're 25s, but they're the last Malibus.
They're the last
GM's
Malibus
ever going to make.
That's it. Wow.
I've got 5 of them. And they're great cars.
Yeah,
I like sedans. My first car was a sedan.
Yeah. Let's get a phone call in here. Hi, we're talking cars here on the Joel Natale Show with Ben Jeffries. Go ahead.
Hey, how's it going, guys? My question was, I was wondering if you had any insight into what's going on with the car part industry right now. Like, look at Advanced Auto Parts going under now, and all these other producers of car parts that you'd go buy are having trouble, major trouble. I was wondering if you had any insight to that.
I'll let him answer off the air. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. So, yeah, I wasn't aware that aftermarket parts are having trouble, huh?
Well, yeah. I mean, here's the thing, Joel, is that parts and production in general have all been completely re-strategized in the wake of COVID.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So, even manufacturers of third-party parts are like, you know what, we need to be there for the manufacturers and for the dealer network first, everybody else after that.
Wow. So you have a body shop at Hallman's, right?
Correct.
So deer hits are crazy right now.
Oh yeah.
If I'm pulling in my Equinox and I need a new radiator, how easy is that?
Well, it's usually a decision between you and your insurer, right? And what's available, right? So,
but standard everyday parts like that, radiators, compressors,
I would tell
lights and front covers,
I would tell you the vast majority of parts are much more readily available today than they have been in the past 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
However, the discussion is probably going to go something like this, like, hey, Joel, it's Hallman. Hey, I've been talking with your insurance, and we've been going back and forth, and we could do this a couple of different ways. We could go with this third-party part, or we could go with this genuine OEM part, and they're happy to cover it either way. This one's going to be faster. This one will be a little slower. What matters to you? Do you want your car back sooner, or would you rather have the OEM part? You know, I mean, these are the complicated discussions taking place in every body shop all the time. But that's a customer service thing, right?
Okay.
I mean, there's nothing worse than being without your car.
It's true.
I mean, it's fine to have rental coverage, but you want your car back.
Right. And as far as, things that might go wrong in the service department, generally those parts are available. I'm sure brakes and all that stuff, that's not a problem.
It's pretty normal. It's pretty 2019-ish.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good answer there. We've got Ben Jeffries on with us here. We're talking automobiles. The 2024-2025 season is on here. It's 4:18 on Talk Erie. Talking automobiles here on the Joel Natale Show. Ben Jeffries of the Hallman Auto Group is with us here. If you have a question, we're doing car talk on the radio. 814-679-1080. 814-679-1080. All right. I want to talk about used. I want to talk about electric, but let's start with used here. What's the used market as far as, first off, on your end, are you able to get cars? Is it getting better for you to get the cars that you want to get at a decent price at auction and so on?
Well, sure, Joel. I mean, everything's getting better because new car has been better for a long time, right? So,
and it's trickling down now, right?
Right. And the best used car is going to be stuff coming off of lease. That's our most common source, right? Folks that drive a car for 2 or 3 years and they treat it well, and it's been well maintained, and those turn into awesome used cars, certified pre-owned cars, that sort of thing.
So those 2021s, those again, you sold a bazillion Equinoxes, right?
Equinox, Silverado, Sonata, Tucson, things like that. Yeah.
They're coming back, and again, they might get scarfed up.
Coming back in force, and they're a great used car option. And usually they're certifiable, which means that, for a fee that we pay,
right?
They get this nice extended warranty. The bumper to bumper gets pushed out, the powertrain gets pushed out. Usually get some complimentary services on top of our Hallman Complete Care is what we call it. Right. 2 free oil changes, 2 free tire rotations.
Sure, yeah. The what's interesting too is, if it's a local, like if they bought from Hallman's originally and it's coming back, a lot of people don't put a lot of miles on their cars. I mean, especially around here. I mean, our commute is 20 minutes. It's 4 miles. You're getting cars back after 3 years with 18,000, 19,000 miles on them.
Well, sure. Or how about one I took in this morning?
Okay.
That had 9,800 miles on it.
What kind was it?
It's an Equinox.
Again, highly desirable, low mileage.
It's a great used car.
It's a what? Is it a 21 or something? It's a 20?
I think it was a 21, yeah.
All right. Bug Ben if you want that one. Let's get another phone call in here. You're live with Ben Jeffries from Hallman's here on Talk Erie.
Ben, I have a question for you. On the newer vehicles, I have a lot of friends that buy new trucks and new cars, and when the warranty expires, they're having electrical problems and having, especially the hybrids, the vehicles were half, they get an engine and plus a battery. Third party, you can't take it to a third party and have it repaired. Because it's proprietary, information in a lot of these electrical systems and engine components that you have to take them to the dealership. Is that right to repair legislation moving forward that will allow third parties to fix these cars so you don't have to go to a dealership to repair them?
I'll let him answer off the air. Thanks so much for the call. That's that whole IP thing, right?
Joel, it's like this is a complicated topic, and obviously you have very educated callers. So this all reared its ugly head with John Deere.
Was it John Deere?
Because John Deere,
I thought it had something to do with Musk and Tesla too.
Well, maybe it did. But I'm familiar with the John Deere case, and same issue. Maybe a little more understandable in the case of John Deere because you have these $500,000 tractors, and only they know how to fix them, and they're not letting third parties repair them, and so they would require you to bring them back. Now there's lots. So. Right to repair is obviously something that on its face seems like something great for the consumer. And I have no doubt that we'll find a nice happy medium in here somewhere between the manufacturers and the consumer and the third-party repair shops. I am not familiar with the particular status of that law as it is in Pennsylvania.
Sure.
I know Florida recently struck it down.
Did they?
Here's what I know as a dealer. I want you back on the road and happy in your car as quickly as possible, because if I don't maintain our good relationship, then I don't have a car to fix in the future anyway.
Right.
Okay, so if there's a way that a third party can help you do it more quickly, more cheaply, more expertly than me, then I hate to say it, but I didn't win that competition.
Right.
Okay, and but I got to tell you, Joel, I think right now, as a General Motors dealer, as a Hyundai dealer,
Yeah.
I think I'm best equipped to help you solve that problem as quickly as possible. I mean, we have some of the best technicians in the area.
Sure.
We have guys that have been with us for years and years and years, and we just firmly believe that having great people translates to great customer service and then a better experience for our customers overall. I mean,
Given where we're at, again, post COVID, you've got parts issues sometimes, and you do have service issues where there's just so much demand. And so sometimes you call your dealer or call your repairman, and it's 2 weeks, it's 3 weeks. There's really no way around that, is there?
Well, no. And I guess my point would be, who's General Motors going to satisfy first? The third-party repair shop or their franchise dealer?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
It's interesting stuff. So as far as I've got like a minute and a half, let's talk about workforce. Are you hiring?
Yeah, we are.
We're on sales and service.
We're always looking for great new salespeople.
Yeah.
People that are people persons, if you will. And we're always looking for great technicians.
Training, especially on the sales side, I would imagine you have the Hallman way.
Sure.
I would think, right? I mean,
absolutely. I mean, happy Hallman customers for life. That's the motto.
Yeah.
So
the product knowledge has to be there, personality,
no doubt,
and then with the technicians,
paid training.
Wow. Yeah.
A path forward. Everybody who we hire, we're trying to get them to master technician status.
Wow.
Because that's how you write and fix a couple thousand cars a month. I'm
thinking about the guys that might be my age, early 60s that have seen.
They're great at it.
But
they're the best.
They've seen every generation.
Yeah.
I mean, there was none of this electronics when they were working on the old Chevy Vega.
They were the nerds of 40 years ago, right?
Right.
They were the tinkerers. So
pretty amazing. Ben Jeffries is our guest here. We've got news at the bottom of the hour. Again, we're taking questions on the phone and on the text at 814-679-1080. Stay with us. Appreciate you being with us here. 105.9 Talk Erie, WZTE. We're talking cars with Ben Jeffries. He is the general manager or
Sales manager.
General sales manager.
Whatever you need me to be, Joel.
The Grand Poopah at Hallman Auto Group.
Poopah. It sounds like a grandfather nickname.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like you guys are close to the old Kohler plant. They had Uncle Oompa, right? All right, you guys, you sell Chevys, you sell Hyundais.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any sub brands that come under this now, or?
Well, it's interesting you point that out. At the Hyundai store, for instance, we have the Ioniq line, right?
That's the electric line, right?
Which they are, they're the 100% electric vehicles by Hyundai. So we have the Ioniq 5 and we have the Ioniq 6.
And I'm seeing more and more when I'm driving up and down state that there are cars parked at your superchargers.
Well, that's true. Yeah, the superchargers are super convenient.
Do you have any on the Chevy side?
We do.
Okay.
They're GM Energy chargers.
Okay.
They're sort of exclusive for General Motors
Gotcha.
people at the moment. But, yeah, I mean, the Ioniq 5 is probably our most popular electric car in the group right now.
And what's that like? What is that, a little SUV-ish? Or?
You know what's really cool is it's kind of a sedan-ish looking vehicle. However, it has a hatch.
Interesting.
Right. So I don't know how familiar you are with our Kona, right?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
But if you think like Honda HR-V-ish size, maybe a little bigger, much better looking than even the Kona or the HR-V, right? It's a really sharp looking car.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you why, Joel. It's because we have this thing going on right now. This is insane. It's a 13-month lease for $259 a month. So, a couple of great things about that.
Wow.
One, by the way, free charging for the duration of your lease on the Hyundai network.
I'm trying to figure out how this pencils out.
Well, how it pencils out is Hyundai has a batch of 25s coming.
Yeah.
And they got to get rid of these 24s.
Okay.
And so they put $15,000 of lease cash on these cars.
Oh, my word.
We're doing a huge Hallman discount to take care of the rest.
And can you still get the credit from the... Maybe not on a lease. Huh?
That's right. So the manufacturer, because when you lease a car, right, the manufacturer owns it. You lease it from them.
Yeah. So
they get
the credit.
Yeah.
So
that's part of
the
that.
I'm talking about the tax credit. That's that may not last very long. So that leads me to this question of electrics, of EVs in general.
Sure.
I mean, really, the you can't put the genie back in the bottle, but let's just face it, the elephant in the room is with Trump's new administration,
right.
He may not be totally down with the EV deal.
Right. Yeah, so here's the interesting thing about that, though, that I'd like to point out to everyone, is like, if Elon's his new buddy...
That's true.
I mean...
Elon kind of created the sector.
Yeah, I mean, I don't... So is he going to help Elon crush everybody else? I don't know. Maybe.
It's wild.
But here's the thing is, I mean, to your point, these companies have made huge multi-year investments.
Billions and billions.
I mean, there's the CAFE standards that you have to meet. There's there's a lot of different factors at play, right? Chevron deference kind of in the toilet. I mean, does one of the manufacturers try to make a big deal about that? I don't know.
Right.
Does Trump try to limit things federally? Maybe. I'm not sure. But here's what I can promise you.
Okay.
Is that California, New York, and Pennsylvania are going to be the first 3 states to adopt more aggressive electric policies, because that's just how things go. Wow. California, they're the first ZEV state. They shamed New York into it. New York did it. Pennsylvania is following on its coattails. So, and there's a great Pennsylvania tax credit available for certain people of certain incomes to do electric cars right now, in addition to the federal tax credit, in addition to all the manufacturer's savings. So, I'm encouraged by the fact that these manufacturers are getting very serious about leasing these electric cars, and they lease really, really well. And I think the reason they're leasing them so well is because they want people to try them out.
Right.
They don't want people to feel like they're making this massive commitment to, being an electric car person, if you will. They're like, hey, dip your toe in the water for 13 months.
Talk about Hyundai's approach to the EV situation versus GM's, because what I thought we would see is more, okay, here's an EV version of the Equinox versus here's a whole other brand.
Yeah,
that's kind of okay. This is like Tesla, or this is like some other EV only kind of brand.
Yeah. I mean,
what are you seeing?
Well, so General Motors, they made what they call the Ultium platform, which is a frame and battery model that is quite versatile, and it has these multi-pocket batteries, right? They're all multi-cells, what they're called, right? And what makes that battery so great compared to everybody else's is that, it's so good that Honda bought it from General Motors. What makes it so great is that if you ding, dent, scratch, whatever, this corner, you can pop those cells out and you can put new ones in. Instead of, the Tesla model of one huge solid state battery, which, if it's tanked, it's tanked. It's over. So that's pretty cool. Hyundai has sort of met in the middle. Right? So they have their exclusively electric cars in the Ioniq 5 and 6.
Right.
But then we also have electrified versions of Kona, of Santa Fe. That comes in a plug-in electric hybrid.
Yeah.
Right? So things like that. I think everyone is trying to provide the consumer a nice variety of options.
Okay. Talk about, again, we talked about that, if you had a dealership in Montgomery versus Erie, is it just going to be that Erie folks are pretty wedded to internal combustion engines because of the cold, because of the snow? We've talked about this before.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so. I mean, if it's going to be your daily driver, I think you're just going to feel more comfortable with an internal combustion vehicle.
I like the idea, though, the plug-in hybrids, where there's gonna be juice there.
What's awesome about the plug-in hybrids, Joel, is that you can drive it like a normal car.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can drive it like a normal car, and if you charge it once in a while, you're never going to use any fuel. I mean, you can drive it like an electric car. You can drive it like a regular car. It's very, very popular.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your fuel economy is just through the roof, of course.
Let's talk about safety features. Again, that's a kind of a big deal now, right? Crash avoidance, lane. Like I said, you're going to keep me in the lane.
Lane keep assist.
All those things. Pretty much, it's almost becoming standard in most vehicles, isn't it? Some of that stuff.
Yeah, a lot of it. I mean, Chevrolet calls it their safety suite. I mean, almost every brand new Chevrolet comes equipped with a handful of safety features, that are really cool. There's some things that are kind of unique to General Motors, like I don't know, we've had this for a long time, by the way, but nobody else does this. I don't know why. You approach something on the left side of your seat vibrates.
That's wild.
It's kind of cool, isn't it? Yeah.
As opposed to a beeping light.
Yeah, I mean, you get that too.
Okay.
But it's like, wow, that's kind of interesting. In fact, we recently sold a Blazer EV to a longtime customer of ours, but it'd been a while since she laced something else. And she texted me the next day. She goes, "You should have warned me." It's like, I was freaking out.
This thing's got a rattle.
I said, "Well, I'm glad you didn't hit it." Right? So that's
my
good.
Gosh, that's funny.
But yeah, I mean, safety features are definitely more and more standard today. There are some really great things going on. My favorite new safety feature, and you don't think of it as one, but it's this rear view mirror that's in both Chevys and Hyundais. It's available, where the whole mirror is just a constant video feed of behind you.
Oh my!
And what's so cool about that is that you got kids screaming in the back, you got the backseat piled up with stuff, you're on a road trip, whatever. somebody moved your mirror. It doesn't matter. You can see this huge, wide view behind you. It's like a fisheye lens right on the back of your car,
Well, yeah, when I'm traveling, half the time my cargo space is full.
piled to the top.
Yeah.
And that's such a simple thing that is more available these days.
Right.
And it makes a big difference.
Yeah. Are we seeing more vehicles with like that bird's eye view or those 4-camera things, the multi-camera deal? Is that a thing?
Yeah, Chevy calls that 360 surround vision, and it's super popular.
Is it?
Yeah, it turns you, okay, if you're a freak like me, though, it's really bad because every time you go park in a spot, you're looking at the bird's eye view, you're like, oh, the right side's, I'm too tight on that side. I got to back out.
I'm with you.
I got to be right in the middle.
Yes,
Put me right in the middle.
If you have a little bit of obsessive compulsive, you want to be perfectly aligned with the lines.
Yeah.
It's a bit of an issue.
It's a bit of an issue.
Let's talk about 2025. What are some of the new features, some of the new models? I mean, what are you excited about for this new model year?
Oh my gosh. We have so many new models that have landed or are landing soon.
Okay.
The new Traverse is just unbelievable.
Oh, wow.
It's a tremendous third-row SUV. It looks like a little Tahoe now. Mm-hmm. The brand new Tahoe is on its way. I've got a black-on-black one coming in. It's going to be the first one available. New Suburban as well. It's just crazy, Joel. GM has done such a great job refreshing the portfolio. Mm-hmm. This time last year, we were talking about the brand new Trax.
Yeah.
And now the Trax is the oldest SUV in the portfolio.
It's interesting.
We have 25 Equinox. We have 25 Blazer. We've got so many awesome models.
Yeah. And what are the things that you wish that customers are more informed than ever before because they're on the internet, they're doing comparisons, they're going to Consumer Reports or whatever. They all have all the information.
Yeah.
But if you could help them, navigate the sales process, what should they come prepared with?
Joel, in my experience, when people buy a car, they're only afraid of one thing, and that is making the wrong decision.
Okay.
Right? So
how do you guard against that, I guess?
Yeah. Decide what you think would be best.
Drive a lot of cars? So you have to test drive a bunch of cars?
You definitely want to drive something before you buy it.
Yeah.
You're doing yourself a huge disservice. I always say to people, you wouldn't buy a pair of shoes without trying them on.
Yeah.
For the first time. If you're me, you just reorder the same shoes every year from Amazon. But, and maybe that's the move, right? Maybe you're like, I've had 3 Equinox. I want a 4th one.
Right.
Let's go.
Yeah.
But if you're considering a new car, you absolutely owe it to yourself to drive it. And then you got to make sure that it's reasonably in your budget, right? And if those two things are good, and then the third thing is, does it fit in your life, right? We're a big proponent of the overnight test drive.
Oh, wow.
Take it home. Put it in your garage. Let your wife see it. Let your kids sit in the back, right? Mm-hmm. Are your car seats going to fit? Can you open your fridge in your garage with your new car parked in it?
Wow. You don't even think about that.
I don't know. Silly little things like that.
But that's a really good point.
Just go do it. Don't whack your fridge into my brand new car and then not buy it. But, if you have to find out, then oh well.
Oh, my gosh.
But you just got to make sure that you really, really love it because it's too expensive. It's too much money to invest in something that you don't love. Mm-hmm. You got to make sure you love it. And then, from the budget perspective, what's the point in owning your dream car if you can't afford to take it out to dinner once in a while?
Wow.
There's no point.
Mm-hmm.
You could put a Rolls in your driveway, but if it just sits there, then why'd you buy it?
Right.
Come on.
Do you think that we're going to see any kind of pulling back on, just what an average new car costs? Because let's face it, they've gone up, minimum 20, maybe to 40%?
They've gone up. That's for sure. I think that the business community is really optimistic about the next, 12, 18, 24 months.
Yep.
I think that is going to drive a new demand for new cars. And I think we're going to slowly reach an economic climate around automotive that looks a little more like 2018, 2019. And that's good news for the consumer.
Right.
I mean, we're already beginning to see it a little bit. We're seeing lower interest rates. We're seeing a lot of manufacturers buying down the rates, right? I mean,
Interesting.
0%, 1.9%. I mean, we've got some awesome offers from Chevy and Hyundai.
Yeah.
And that goes a long way when it comes to affordability. Because if the prime rates, I don't know, what's the prime rate on a new car right now? 6 something low
like
sevens ish.
Yeah, right.
Something like that.
Sure.
And
so the manufacturer actually buying rate down. Wow.
All the way to 0 in some cases,
Wow.
right? 36, 48 months at 0. In fact, Chevrolet, I mean, we're even doing 0 for 60. And you have to be a stupendous credit score,
Right.
that's for sure.
Right.
And I like to be transparent about that.
Absolutely.
A lot of folks aren't.
Yeah.
That's silly.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. Over the course of that loan, you're talking about saving yourself $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 in interest.
100%. Yeah.
And I think while people's money market accounts or your 401k or your retirement, whatever it is, are doing well, hey, take that. If you're a check writer for your next new car, take those bucks, keep them in your money market account or wherever you're making money, okay, and get yourself a nice little 48-month at 0% loan. Make some payments while your money grows over here.
The OPM, the other
Yeah.
people's money.
Why not?
Right.
It's free money.
One last question for Ben Jeffries from Hallman's here. Okay, is it a real deal that people like to buy cars for Christmas and put the bow on it and the whole shooting match?
Oh my
Because again,
gosh.
we're gonna have all those commercials like now.
Do you remember that SNL skit where the husband went and did it anyway without his wife? Where he bought a Lexus.
Did he really?
Meanwhile, he's unemployed and borrowed money from his neighbor.
Oh, that's hilarious.
His wife's cheating on him with the neighbor he borrowed the money
Oh,
from.
my
The whole thing's terrible.
It's-
It's a funny skit, though.
Do you sell a lot of cars in December?
It's the biggest month of the year.
Seriously?
And it's because we always run crazy specials because it's the end of our model year in most cases. Now, that hasn't meant a lot in the past 2 or 3 years
yeah.
because COVID availability, whatever.
Right.
I'll tell you what, it means a lot right now. I'm doing it right now. I'm doing it on everything.
You're pushing 24s out the door.
I am big time. All the way from tracks down, $20,000 to $118,000 dump trucks. I'm doing $10,000, $11,000, $12,000 off. Get your tax savings in.
I want to see that dump truck with the red bow.
I'll put a tracks in the back.
You can put the tracks
I'll
in
just
the back.
take the discount off the dump truck, and I'll put a brand new tracks in the back for you.
Oh my gosh!
You can drive it off.
It's a fun business, isn't it?
It is because
business.
You know what? Here's the most fun part about it, Joel, is that even if you have like a really difficult problem to solve, right? You've got an affordability issue, a time issue, an insurance. Let's say you have all the issues. At the end, somebody's getting a new car.
Right.
That's fun.
Yes.
New cars are fun.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's just a new to you car.
New to you car, right.
I mean, think about how excited we all were when we got our first car as a kid.
Absolutely.
Right? I mean, mine was a 97 Crown Vic.
Mine was an 80 Chevy Monza.
Yeah. See, that's not even a real car, Joel. They're just making up cars over there.
Do you remember that?
The Monza? No, I don't remember that.
Monza, yes.
Joel,
Well, it's
you'll have
way
to
before
forgive
your
me.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were we one.
I was born in 93.
Well, there you go.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's hilarious.
No, but it's true, though. That's why it's a fun business.
Yeah. Everybody loves a new car, whether it's new to them. Thank you so much, Ben Jeffries, General Sales Manager at the Hallman Auto Group. Appreciate your sponsorship and appreciate your candor and expertise.
Thanks
What
for
a great
having me, Joel.
conversation, man. It is 4:54. I do enjoy talking about the auto business because, again, obviously it's the number 2 purchase that any person will make. And then you have, the added impact of what you like about the car, what what you aspire to with the car. I think the last time I was in Hallman's, I'm looking at this Corvette, and it's like, oh my goodness, that's a gorgeous car. There's a lot of vet lovers out there, right? And so, and that obviously is a trophy, right, to have a Corvette. And but yeah, it's remarkable. It's remarkable this business and what it's been through. We didn't even talk about like the chip thing. All that stuff's been fixed, which is so good that now we can maybe start seeing some normalcy on supply chain, on and all that. But I tell you what, if you have a kid that's a tinkerer and he's in high school, you could have tinkerers as well. There ain't a better business than being an auto mechanic. Oh my gosh. You can have a really amazing family sustaining job right there. Right?
Absolutely.
Men, women, you get under the hood, put your computer. I mean, again, analytics. What a great job that is. And I bet you that the issue that they're probably having is, I bet you those classes are pretty full, like at Erie High and at the VOTEC, whatever, the Erie County Technical School. So, but yeah, auto mechanic. Wow, what a great career. All right, we're going to keep talking about autos with our Tuesday Auto Focus. Mike Paris joins us after the news at 5 o'clock. It's Talk Erie and the Joel Natale Show.